Okay, perfect. So I am going to begin by, I'm going to share my screen and just show you all one thing that I'm asking for you guys to do. So if you go to, can everyone see my screen?
Now we can.
Okay. So if you go to announcements, and then I posted README all in caps, and I put Monday's date. And there's three. Oh, here's where I put the lecture. I forgot where I put the lecture, but yeah, I posted it there if you missed Monday's lecture, because this does have a big chunk of the university assignment that's due. And then I asked to mention or to write down what career you're going to do your final presentation on. So it is individual now. You're not going to be working as a group. So it doesn't have to fall under a specific career family. It could just be your own individual career that you are genuinely thinking of pursuing. If you rose, like for example, Jasmine has nurse. If you were thinking of doing nurse, you can no longer, nobody else in the class can do that profession anymore. If you are considering being a nurse, like that is your top career, just make sure you focus and really pay attention during Jasmine's presentation, but you are expected to do a different career. So what would be similar to nurse or have the similar qualities, not qualities, but like job duties as a nurse? So yeah, I'm expecting everybody to do this, to respond. So like Diana responded, Marco responded. So just make sure you respond to this with the career. You just click reply and then put your name and the career you're thinking of pursuing, or the career you are going to do your presentation on. And then again, some of you haven't done your education plan, so we could book an appointment, or if there's assignments you need to catch up on, or anything like that, we can book an appointment and work on that together. And the appointment it could be through Zoom, it could be phone call, it could be through text, it could be through different ways of talking. Any questions about just those things?
I have a question. I'm not really understanding the university research. Didn't we do that in class?
We did so there's 4 parts to it. And we did do the first part in class, which was, the first one was the major report. That was one part of it, which is either your assist report, IDT, or the articulation. And that's what you get from the university that tells you what classes you need to do for that major. The other part of it is this sheet right here, which you should have already completed that by Monday. This one has you write down the courses that are on the report. And then this part right here, you choose one, either the CSUGE or IGETC, and you list the GEs that you're going to take, and they have to be specific. Like it cannot be a general like arts class, like it has to be a specific class. And I went over lecture Monday, how to find that, but I'll review it today during the other lecture. And then the other one is to have your GE sheet filled out with the GEs that you're going to choose from that area. And then today we're going to go over the 4th part.
Oh, where's the GE sheet?
If you go back to assignments, it is, nope, not assignments, I'm sorry. The modules. If you go to the modules and you go to self-awareness part 2, they are right here.
Oh.
So you click, yeah, general ed plans. And again, you only pick one, either IGETC or the CSUGE. And in the lecture for Monday, I explained the difference between the two. And then today we're gonna go over this stuff. So the transfer plan, all the requirements for transfer. Oh, I should publish this. And then we're gonna go over what your education plan looks like. So this would be the ultimate 4th part, the last 25 points of the whole assignment.
Adela, for me, is it okay if I just link you that spreadsheet I showed you today with all filled out? Okay, cool.
What we went over today, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Aw, I just noticed Michael's kitty. Oh, how cute.
I think I'm gonna keep it there for the rest of the session.
Your kitty?
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine.
I'm happy with that.
Oh. Okay. So let's jump into the fourth part. It is right here. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go over requirements to transfer. And then we're gonna go over the ultimate transfer plan and what that looks like. So yeah, we're gonna select classes, go over transfer info, the final checks of the university research, which I kind of already did right now, but we'll just review it again, why not? And then, oh, and again, please write down your career on the Canvas post if you have not done it, please. If I wrote your name, then you're good, you don't have to do it, but please make sure to do that. Any questions about just anything before we dive into lecture?
I have a question. So, would it be possible for you to actually put the Zoom link into the Zoom tab, the one that we're doing moving forward? Because it's like kind of not super easy to filter through my inbox to find the Zoom link. Do you see the Zoom tab?
Is it on Canvas?
So I don't know where it is. Maybe I just don't know how to use it. But if you click on Zoom,
Oh.
if you click on Zoom there, it's empty.
Okay, I'll put, yeah, thank you for, let me write on that. Let me look into that.
Yeah, because I think maybe that would make it easier for a lot of people too. Just know that there's class and then click on the Zoom tab and then click into the meeting.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's also, if you go on announcements, it's also here, but it'll be on both. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments about anything? No? Okay, perfect. So let's dive into this. So again, how to select classes. So, and again, this is kind of a review. It's more in depth of what we talked about on Monday. So prerequisites are courses that have to be completed, like you have to successfully complete them with a C or better to move on to the next one. So for example, in order to take Math 251, you have to successfully pass Math 222 or an equivalent course to that before you can jump into that course. Without any knowledge or experience in this class, you cannot take Math 251. So for example, Biology 260, Human Physiology. Can someone tell me what the prerequisites are for this course?
Are you sharing something right now?
Yeah, can you see my screen?
We're still on Canvas.
Oh my gosh, okay. Let me try again, sorry about that. I thought the lecture was being shared. Okay, can you see this now?
Yep.
So it's example 1, Biology 260, Human Physiology. What's the prerequisite for this
Biology
course?
250 or equivalent, and Chem 192 or Chem 210 or Chem 410 or equivalent.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. So if you have not taken any courses like that, you cannot take this course. So make sure that when on your sheet where you're putting in your major prep and then your GEs, that you are also including prerequisites. For example, if you're pursuing nursing, you have to take this course, but you might not even look at, or the major might, not the major, the college might not even list that it requires chem. So it's up to you to know if you have to take like a prerequisite or not to jump into a course. Don't assume that you can just jump into any course without any prior completed courses. And then there's also recommended and transferable. So for example, if you need to take Accounting 172, it's recommended that you take Accounting 100 or 121 or equivalent or those other courses before you can jump into this course. Recommended doesn't mean you have to take it. So if you have room in your schedule, if you need units or anything like that, then you can easily include these courses into your plan. And then transfer credit. If you took Accounting 172, which is 4 units, and you applied to a UCLA, would they accept this course? Yes or no? Yes or no? Who wants to share?
No, they wouldn't because
No.
to fund your UC, a CSU transfer credit wouldn't count.
Yes or no? So the UCs would not honor this course because it only transfers to a CSU. So make sure you look into that too as you're planning your schedules and selecting courses. Make sure that if you are aiming towards a UC, that you take this into account also. And then are these courses transferable? Yes or no? I don't know if you can see it. Are these courses transferable?
I don't think so.
No, they're not. These courses are not transferable.
Because they're degree credit.
Their degree credit, yeah, and then it doesn't say on the, if it was on the catalog, doesn't say if it gives you credit towards a UC or a CSU. So we're not gonna practice right now. We're gonna practice at the end when I get to it. But just remember, so again, these are the documents that are required for the university research. So your major prep, which is either the assist report, your ADT, or the private/out-of-state articulation. Your CSUGE or a GETC, just one, do not do both. The class list, which is that sheet that lists, it has the 3 columns. It has the major prep, and then either CSUGE or a GETC. And then the SEP is another one. That, did I upload it on? Let me check if I uploaded it on Canvas. I thought I did. Which is, yeah, that's the other sheet that's required for the university prep. Can you guys see Canvas?
No.
Are you looking at the PowerPoint still?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, let me, how about now?
it's
Yeah.
fine now.
Okay, perfect. So if you go to home, to the modules, and then you go down to, again, the university, the self-awareness part 2, and it should be, yeah, Skyline SCP. So this is the ultimate fourth, the last 425 points for the assignment. And it looks like this. So you are going, some of you already have your education plan, and that's great. And now you're going to specify the specific courses you're going to take for your progress. It's going to include your major prep, your general ed. And again, they have to be in a sequence. Some courses you cannot take them in whatever order you want. They have to be in a particular order. For example, you have to take Psych 101 and Math 200. Psych 100 and Math 200 before you can take Psych, is it 102? The research one, the research psychology. You cannot take it without stats and Psych 100. Same with like the math example I gave earlier, or biology, or physics. There's a lot of courses you cannot just randomly take in any order you want. They have to follow a particular order. So that's gonna be the last part of this assignment. Any questions about this?
I'm sorry, I came in a little late, but so the SCP is due when?
This will make it due during spring break week. So you could turn it in
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. And we're gonna have another meeting during spring break, like just to like catch up on this, or if you have any questions or anything like that.
Okay, so this one is one assignment. The other assignment's the prerequisite list and like the courses
All
for.
4 go together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But it makes it easier if you follow it in that sequence. If you follow, if you do the major first, like find the major prep courses,
Okay.
which again, it's either assist, ADT, or the private out-of-state articulation. Next would be finding the general ed courses, so either picking IGETC or the CSUGEs, and then taking those and putting them on the sheet with the 3 columns, and then doing your SEP.
Okay. And if I wanted to schedule an appointment with you, could I do that once the class is over?
Yes, definitely. I recommend that for everybody who hasn't done it yet, that after class, like I could pull up my schedule and we could book appointments.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the slides. Okay, can everybody see the slides?
Yep.
And ideally we would be doing this in class together. That would have been perfect, but because of the circumstances, we cannot. So, yeah. Okay, so number one thing to keep in mind is that for the CSUs, you need this thing called the Golden 4. Without the Golden 4, you are automatically going to get denied. You must complete a full year of English, so 2 courses. You have to take a transferable math, ideally the math that your major requires. If your major does not require specific math, then you have other options to choose, which I listed them right here, like Math 200, 150, 130, or 222. These are the common math courses students take when their major does not specify a math. The third of, and then the fourth Golden 4 is public speaking. So again, the Golden 4 are 2 English classes, a transferable math, and public speaking. The second thing to keep in mind is, again, your major prep, which hopefully all of you have that already. If you do not have that, let's chat after class so we can find out what yours is. You should already have this down. Again, always consider prerequisites. Sometimes the universities will tell you, take this class, but then they won't tell you what the prerequisites are for that class. So that is up to you to know, which you find that information on the catalog. And I'm gonna be checking all your paperwork, so I'll see like if you listed a class, and I'll know if it needs a prerequisite or not, and I'll tell you like, hey, you forgot to include this class. Next is your GEs. Again, only pick one, either the CSU GE or I get C. How do you pick it? Watch the lecture from Monday, and it specifies the difference between the two. And then the final checks. You must complete 60 units. If you only do 59.5 units, you will get denied. You have to have at least 60. I always tell students that 66 is a good sweet spot, but I know a lot of students that transferred with just 60 units. And again, is it balanced and realistic? So as you're planning your classes, is it realistically aligning with what you have going on outside of class? Like, are you a parent? Are you taking care of family members? Are you working full time? Do you commute? Are you giving yourself enough time to get like internship hours or community involvement? The UCs really, really look into student leaders. I feel, this is just my perspective. It might be totally wrong, but I feel like UCs prefer students that are getting involved in their community and are actually leaders versus somebody who has a high GPA. I have seen a lot of students with 4.0s who didn't do anything but just courses, not get into any university they wanted. So keep that in mind. Are you allowing yourself that time to really like do more than just be a student? So yeah, take into account all those things as you are building your schedule. Any questions about this lecture before we do the next one? Everything makes sense? Can you guys do the little thumbs up thing? Do you know how to do it? No, it's if you go on, can you see my screen? Do you see the bar that I'm like going between? Yeah, perfect. So Austin did it. If you go to, where did I see it? I think it's here.
Reactions.
Reactions, where's reactions? I saw it somewhere. Oh my gosh, I was doing it at a meeting. Maybe I can't see it because
There's chat.
I'm leading the meeting.
There's reactions, and reactions like the one at the far right. Not leave meeting, but a little bit more before that.
I probably can't see it because I'm leading the meeting, but yes, Marco did a good job explaining where it is. Okay, perfect. So now we're hopping on to the next lecture. Can you all see this, the screen? It's like a tan color. It says taking a big leap, transfer timeline. Okay, perfect. By the way, I believe I shared, let me double check on Canvas. If you go on Canvas and you go to, oh yeah, transfer plan, I think. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Transferplan.pdf, and you click it, it has this like timeline of every month. So we start out with today. This is March, oh, it's a touch, oh, I just know. Okay, sorry, March 2020. And then we go, or you could do March 2021, depending on your goals. But it is a timeline for transferring. So yeah, I recommend, I'm not gonna collect this, so it's up to you if you do it or not, but I feel like it will be helpful as you follow along with the lecture right now, especially for those of you who are applying to transfer next semester or in 2 semesters, or sorry, who are planning to apply within this coming fall or the following fall. I think it'll really help you a lot. Okay, so taking the big leap.
Adela?
Mhm.
I had a question. I'm still not seeming to understand because I feel like we did this part. Hold on, I'm like looking for it. So like over here, we did the first part together in class, right?
Yeah, the major prep. Mhm.
And then over here, didn't you send us like a email of the classes that we put on the column? We turned it in, and oh, so that's done too, right?
Yeah, so a lot of you already did the major prep. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me share it. So I already sent it out, and some of you are done. So like, let me pull up Miguel's. Miguel did a good job with his. I don't think he's in the chat, but can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first part, the major prep.
Okay.
And then on Monday, hopefully all of you finished one of these columns. Again, only do one, either the CSU or IGETC, not both.
And how do you get to that? Do you have to press on this thing right here?
To this sheet or the one that I sent you?
Oh, for the general ed thing, like the second column.
If you scroll down, it should say general education plans.
And then I just have to do one of them?
Just one, yeah.
Okay. I just have to like pick the classes that associate with my major, right?
So that is, did you watch the lecture on Monday? Have you seen it? It's okay if you haven't, just.
I skimmed through it, but I didn't get to watch all of it.
Okay, so we go over this stuff right now that we're talking about.
Okay, so I should go watch Mondays?
Yeah, watch it, and if you have any questions after it, I'll be happy to go over it again.
Okay.
But yeah, we go over that. All the stuff you're asking, like it is, yeah, it's explained in that video.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yes, please, after you watch it, if it still doesn't make sense, because this is really complicated, you guys. Like, this is like, we're solving a puzzle. It's not something that's just like coming naturally. Like, it's a legit puzzle. So even if you watch Monday's lecture and it still doesn't make sense, like we can talk about that.
Thanks. And what does this all do through spring break? This is like the whole like chunk of papers, not chunk of papers, but like
the packet,
the list of the packet.
Yeah, you could turn it in during spring break.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like most of you, if you've been following along with everything, and you've been staying on top of what we've been discussing throughout the lectures, like I feel like you'll be done today. Okay, can you see the screen, the taking the big leap? Everybody can see it? Okay, perfect. So the transfer timeline. Okay, so we're gonna go over the transfer application process. There's no announcements. So as you are getting ready to apply, so I'm sure all of you are familiar with this, but I wasn't. The reason why I created this lecture in the first place was I actually created it while I was applying to grad school, because the grad school application process was like overwhelming for me. And especially when I was in high school, I remember my senior year in high school, I went to my high school counselor and I told her, oh, I want to go to college. And she was like, okay, like, you don't just like sign up for it like you do in high school. Like there's a whole process to it. So in my mind, I didn't know that there was like a formal application and you might get rejected or not. Like I just thought you just signed up just like high school, kind of like community college, where you kind of just sign up for community college and you're good to go. I thought going to university was just like that, but nope, it is a whole process. So that's why I created this. So as you are getting ready to apply, once you submit your applications, make sure that you prioritize it. Like treat it like a class and treat it like it is your #1 class. So stay on top of your emails, make sure you're taking the appropriate classes you need. Stay organized with this, like with the deadlines. I had a student who emailed me yesterday. She emailed me, so it was through email, but I'm sure if it was in person, she probably would have been crying because she missed the deadline to submit her transcripts to San Jose State. And if you don't submit your transcripts by the date that they ask, you will most likely get denied. So just make sure that you are on top of that stuff. And one way to keep track of it is to creating an Excel sheet. So you go on the websites, on the university's website and see when they require stuff, and you just create an Excel sheet and it'll help you keep track of deadlines, what they require, all of that stuff.
Adela?
Yes.
People applying for schools now?
Yeah, do you want to share yours? So Leslie and I have been working on one together, mostly Leslie.
Can share, the reason I asked was I was going to say if anyone wants me to review their college application essays, I'm happy to do so. But I just don't know if people are applying right now.
That's a good question. I think some students already applied in the fall, and a lot of you are, I think some of you are also applying next fall. I'm not sure. But if any of you are applying this October, which is coming up in a few months, like it's gonna come right before you know it. Yeah, like definitely reach out to Leslie. Leslie would be a good resource. She went to UC Berkeley, so yeah, she would be a great resource.
Right. If anyone's interested in going to UC Berkeley, I'm happy to chat about what it was like there. Or even if you're interested in a career related to like business, so marketing, data analytics, operations, finance, I'm happy to talk to anyone.
Thank you, Leslie. Okay. So yeah, Leslie's there as a resource for all of you. Okay, so the spring semester. So this is the semester before you apply. So let's pretend that all of you are applying to transfer in October, this fall 2020 semester. So by this spring semester, the semester before you apply, not including summer, you're gonna be finding the right colleges. They're the appropriate colleges for you, which we have already began that process. I already showed you how to look up universities, how the different universities, how they differ and what they offer and all of that stuff. So all of you should ideally be working on that right now or have it already done. So we're not gonna go into detail over that process because we spent a whole lecture going through it. Also think about where you wanna live. Do you wanna live in a city? Do you wanna live in like a rural area or like Santa Cruz where it's like in the forest? Like, where do you see yourself living? Where do you see yourself thriving as a student? I remember I met a lot of students like, when you're in college, people ask you like, oh, where are you transferring to? Where do you wanna go? And I would tell students like, oh, I wanna go to Berkeley, when I was a student myself. And they would say, oh, I would never go to Berkeley. There's so many hills, which is true. I'm sure Leslie can say that too, that there's like so many hills in Berkeley. Like you get a little workout walking to your classes. And if anybody at any time wants to share about their experience with any stuff we talk about, like please do so. Some of you might, I know a lot of community college students that go to a 4-year and they don't enjoy their experience there, or other things happen, so they come back to the community college. So if that is the case for any of you, please share, or if you know people in your family who went to college or transferred or anything like that, like definitely share your experience, please, at any time, just like speak up. Okay, so in the summer is when you want to start saving money, because applications for colleges are not cheap. I don't remember the exact prices at the top of my head, but I know that I think UCs are $70 and CSUs are $55 each. Also campus visits, you're gonna start getting accepted and you wanna go visit the campus, you wanna see what it's like, if you like the vibes, if you like the students there, that costs a lot of money too. And then moving out. Some of you are probably gonna move out to go to college, and that is another expense that you have to take into account. Sorry, I saw a chat. Okay. So Marco said, in my own experience, I took a tour of the school I wanted to transfer to. So take a tour of the campus, definitely. Skyline offers free tours sometimes. So if Skyline's going to a college you're thinking about, definitely hop on that. And in the summer, so besides saving money, you also want to start working on your personal statements. I would say, for me personally, and for other students I work with, the personal statement takes the longest. The application takes like, I don't know, 40 minutes to an hour, the application itself, but the statement takes a long time, especially because you want it to glow, you want it to be unique. Keep this in mind, okay? This is like really good advice. There's thousands of students applying to the same college with the same major. What is going to make you stand out over them? That's where your personal statement comes in. This is where you want to stand out over all the other students who are taking the same classes, have the same GPA or higher, and are applying to the same major. You also want to have different people look at it. You want it to just make sure that it's people who know you and who tell you, yes, like I know you forgot to mention this, or this is a good quality you have, or, you know, etc. Any questions about the money or personal statement? No? Okay. And if you have any questions at any time, just like go ahead and speak out. Like you could unmute yourself and just like say like, hey, Adela, I want to ask or add this, or yeah, you can interrupt me.
Adela, this is Leslie. I wanted to say that when I applied to college, I wish that I applied to more schools. Personally, I basically only applied to UCs, and I actually didn't think that I was going to get into UC Berkeley, and I didn't get into UCLA, which was my dream school at the time. But I myself had wished, oh, what if I had applied to a private school? And yes, it would have been really expensive, but maybe I could have gotten financial aid, and maybe it could have set me up for better opportunities in the future, because when you're at a UC, they don't really provide job support at all, unless you like really seek it out. So it is nice, like my friends who went to private schools, they have like a good alumni base and a lot of support around jobs and also smaller class sizes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for bringing up those points. That's perfect, and that is accurate. So take that into account too. And just adding to what Leslie said, like I went to, for my bachelor's, I went to UC, and for my master's, I went to a 4-year, a CSU. And I could even see the differences in terms of resources, like the quality of services and education. Like it was just a lot better at a UC, honestly. And at a private school, I'm sure it's even more, the quality is even better, most likely, than a UC or CSU. Another thing to keep in mind, as Leslie mentioned, is that just because like university is more expensive, like privates are known to be more expensive than public schools. A lot of times they offer more aid. I know for me, Santa Clara offered me more aid than any other college I applied to. And it's a private school that costs like so much money. So keep that into account too, that just because it's expensive doesn't mean that they're not gonna offer you more aid. And the aids do differ. So like even the aid that I got offered from UCLA was different than the aid I got offered from UC Berkeley. So keep that into account too. So don't let finances stop you. And take a chance. Take a chance. You never know. Like maybe you're like, oh, I really want to go to Stanford, or I really want to go to NYU, and you're worried that you're not going to get in, so you just don't apply. Like don't stop that. Like if you don't apply, you are for sure not going to get in because you're not applying. So just take a chance, take a risk. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, the other thing is I also wish that I had applied out of state. I don't know how affordable it is for people, but I guess I had really wished that I had taken advantage of that opportunity to live somewhere new. Because I grew up in the Bay. I've always been in the Bay. I went to UC Berkeley. But you know, a lot of my friends were able to go to school in New York or Chicago, and it's definitely a different experience.
One more thing I want to say is that so my second semester in community college, so the spring semester, like all of you, I went to visit my friend at UC Santa Barbara. And I was asking him about like the transfer process and like like moving somewhere new and all of that stuff. And he said, he's like, honestly, he's like, all that money you get from financial aid and scholarships, he's like, save it. Don't spend any of it in your community college. Like just save all of it. And I did. And I'm so thankful he did, because it made the move to Berkeley a lot easier, especially for some of us who don't have family to help us pay for college. We don't have any other source of support to finance our education, and it's only up to us. It's possible. It is totally possible to move to somewhere different, start a new life. You just got to start saving now. And Marco, I believe, said to apply to scholarships. Yes, I think I mentioned this to all of you already, that universities have scholarships just for incoming transfer students. I already I wrote letters of recs for a lot of students who are transferring next fall, and they were from the universities. Like I just wrote one for UC Davis for one of my students who's transferring to UC Davis, and it's a scholarship just for incoming transfer students. So look for those also. Okay. Now, the fall semester. This semester is going to be hectic, y'all. It's going to be a crazy semester. And again, this is the fall that you are applying to transfer, not like a regular fall semester. So in the fall, number one is tag. Tag is due. When is tag due? Someone tell me, when is tag due? We talked about this in class. Uh-oh, the date should come to all of you naturally. Anybody know when tag is due? Just say it. Just say it out loud.
October?
Good try. Thank you for answering. So no, tag is due in September. It opens September 1st and it closes September 30th. Why is that important? Why should we care? It's okay, I'll tell you all. But you all shouldn't, if you're considering tag, you should know this. So tag stands for Transfer Admissions Guarantee. It is a guaranteed transfer to a UC. So if you meet all the requirements and you're eligible for tag, you definitely want to take advantage of that opportunity. So tag is in September, and then from October 1st to November 30th is when the CSU and UC applications are due. A lot of private schools have rolling admissions, which means that they take applications throughout the whole different times of the year. But I always tell students, just get it out of the way at the same time as your privates and publics. I know I did. My goal was like to get everything turned in before the Thanksgiving break, so I don't have to stress out during Thanksgiving break. So just try to get everything in by early November. It's possible, including private schools. Your transcripts also have to be turned in, so make sure that you have money saved up to order transcripts if you need to pay for that. Or just make sure that you give yourself enough time to order your transcripts. Back in my time, transcripts were not digital, so you had to mail them in, which, you know, takes a long time. They can get lost. It was a hassle. Now you can send your transcripts digitally, so that's great. Some private schools, UCs and CSUs do not, but private schools, a lot of them ask for letters of rec. So make sure that you are getting your recommenders ready to go and you're giving them advance notice. Like, hey, professor, I'm applying to Santa Clara University. If the application is due in 2 weeks or more, can you write me a letter of rec? Make sure you give them at least a 2-week window. Don't ask them like a week before. You will most likely get a no. Another thing about, oh no, how did it jump? It jumped around a lot, sorry. Okay. Another thing about the fall semester is these are the websites. So I don't think the CSU, I don't think this one's it. I need to update it. They recently changed it. But if you look up Cal State Apply, it'll come up, I guarantee. And then for the UCs, it's admissions.universityofcalifornia.edu. And then privates and out-of-state schools use the common application, or they do it directly on their website. If the private school gives you the option to do the common application or their own application, do the common application. Why? Why should you go with the common application? Someone tell me. Why should you do the common app instead of their own college application?
It's easier.
It's significantly easier. It's already gonna have your information saved. So you know how when you do your FAFSA application, like the next year, your information is already there? That's what's gonna happen. The Common App is already gonna have all your information from previous colleges. So just, yeah, it's a lot easier. Just save yourself that headache and that time. Any questions about the fall semester before we move on to winter break? No? We can jump into winter semester. Okay, so the winter semester. So during winter break, this is when you want to really focus on scholarships. Start looking into scholarships, start getting your personal statement beautiful for the scholarship applications, and look into possible internships. Like see what, when you transfer, you can do an internship at Skyline or where you are at the moment, but then also look into what connections does that college offer you for internships. Again, when it comes to careers in the world of work, they're gonna ask you for experience. You're gonna graduate from college, you're gonna try to look for a job and they're gonna ask for experience. And you're gonna ask yourself like, what the fuck? Like I just graduated from college, I don't have experience. Wrong, that is where internships come in. So people who interned while they were in college are gonna have a huge advantage versus the students who didn't intern while they were in college. Does that make sense? And another thing that it's my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, but I strongly believe that internships and getting real experience is the best way to find out if a career is a good fit for you. If you only research through books, through websites, through talking to people, it's not going to give you a true authentic feel of how you would be in that career, how you would thrive in that career. So make sure that you are putting yourself out there and really trying it out. And again, a lot of people are so open to that. One of my students, a couple of my students are interested in being dentists. So they sent me a picture. I'm gonna share it with you all because why not? They sent me a picture of them during, I know I told them like, you guys, it's coronavirus, like you shouldn't be out doing this. But they sent me a picture of them with the dentist. I don't know if y'all can see it. They're with the dentist interning in his office.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because they're serious about going into healthcare. So they want to know, like, is this like a good match for us? These are students from my other class. So you want to put yourself out there and really see what it's like. Okay, summer. Or spring break. Oh my gosh, I totally jumped spring. So the spring semester is when you should do your taxes, your financial aid, and scholarships. So scholarship season, I think I already shared with you, like treat it like a job. It's only for a few months. Scholarship season is not for the whole year. It's only from, I would say, late January to late March. And that's it. It's only a few months when all these scholarships are popping up. So take advantage of that time. Also, keep up with your emails because you are going to get emailed from colleges, so keep up with that. A lot of private schools do interviews or very, very selective programs at public schools. For example, nursing or a lot of art programs, theater, they do interviews for public schools. Like UCLA does interviews. And again, so you want to get ready for your interviews. A lot of those cost money too. I remember for one of my interviews, like I had to hop on bar, I had to go to the college, like I had to buy a new outfit because I didn't have like cute interview outfits, or professional, I should say. So I had to it was expensive. You also need to do your ADT application. So those of you who are completing an ADT, you have to do an ADT application during the spring. If you don't, that is not good. So make sure you get that in the spring. And also verification, which is another separate form you fill out. But you don't have to worry about that now. So now you get notified. So you're in the spring is when you find out, like the colleges are gonna contact you and say, hey, we want you to come to our college. That's when you start looking into everything. How much aid are they gonna offer you? How much does it cost? How much do you have to pay out of pocket? Do you wanna be close to your friends and family? Is it a strong program? Are they known for that major? Are you going to commute? Does that college and that program have a good reputation? And the professors, who are the professors that are teaching it? I know for me, there was a book I read during undergrad, and a professor at UC Berkeley who wrote that book taught at Berkeley. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to take a class with this professor. I read their book, it's exciting. So what are the faculty researching? Can you work with that faculty and do research on that same thing? So you are embarking on a big new, I don't know, it's a big change in your life. It's exciting. So you just want to make sure that you weigh all your options and make the best decision for you. And again, make the decision for you, not for anyone else. It's for you. And also throughout this whole journey, it is stressful. It's a lot of work. So just make sure that you're also taking time to self-care, to really take time to just focus on yourself and doing what will help you. Any questions about anything?
I wanted to share my experience with college a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to UC Berkeley, and I have to say it was quite stressful. Pretty much, if you think about it, you're applying to schools that are basically, sorry, let me turn on my video. So you're applying for schools that are at your level, right? So these people are probably getting around the same grades as you, or are at some level, right? And then you're being asked to compete against them, basically, in all of your classes. So if you think about it, it's what is your intelligence level or something? That's how I saw it. And I was in classes where I was studying so hard just to get a C. Whereas in high school, it was much easier to get an A. So just wanted to share that, it can be really stressful. Even now, maybe it's stressful for everyone. But I did have friends who went to schools that weren't as good. One of my best friends, she got into UC San Diego, but she actually went to UC Davis, and it was really easy for her. So, you might want to think about okay, well, what kind of environment will I succeed in? I personally do better when I'm closer to the top, not when I'm extremely behind, where I felt at UC Berkeley, I felt people were way smarter than me, and it was really competitive for sure. I don't know if you felt that way, Adela.
I think it depends on the major also.
Yeah, that's true. So, and then as for internships, I didn't do any internships in college because I didn't know how to apply. Like I applied to some, but I didn't get anything. So I ended up taking classes over the summer, like basically every summer. And then afterwards, I had a lot of difficulty finding a job. I think my parents weren't really good support in terms of like how to get an internship because they were immigrants and they didn't know. So I think maybe Adela would be able to be a resource on like how to get internships. And even in this class where we were supposed to find internships, but definitely I think internships are so helpful. You just need to figure out how to get those opportunities and look for them. Cat!
Keep it. Yeah, this is my kitty.
Cat gang, way out here.
Oh, so cute.
He came closer to me. What do you want? But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Leslie. Do you guys have any questions about what Leslie was saying? Because it's very true, very, very true. Finding an internship is also pretty competitive. No, everybody's good.
Yeah, I don't really have any questions.
Perfect, perfect. Is anybody applying to transfer next fall, by the way? Fall 2020? Oh, yeah, Marco is, that's right. Marco's applying. Anyone else?
I'm still a first year, so yeah.
I'm planning to apply this year to transfer next year.
Ooh, so also Jessica. So Jessica, Marco. Awesome. So I guess the timeline was very relevant to both of you for sure. I mean, it's relevant to everybody, but based on what you two are gonna start facing, like that is true.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So I know you were telling me that to apply for the associate's degree, we have to go to a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to do that? Would we have to do that like sometime in this semester, or can we do it in like the fall?
We can do it in the fall. Yeah, because in order for you to apply for your ADT, you have to have the courses either completed or in progress. And at the moment, yours aren't in progress yet. So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna quickly run to the restroom. If all of you are good to go, then you can log off. And if you want to schedule an appointment, which I recommend we do if we haven't, I'm gonna pull up my schedule right now after I run to the restroom. So for those of you who log off, bye, have a good day, see you. Are we meeting Friday?
It's a flex day Friday, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we'll meet Friday.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
I'll see you on Friday. Bye.
Later.
I'll be back for those of you who want to book an appointment.
All right.
Okay.
Later.
How's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, just tired. And I don't like not being able to go out.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Just like bored, basically.
Do you have any
What are you
pets?
doing at home?
So I made a COVID bucket list. So there's just things on there like get better at Chinese and Spanish, or like reorganize my room, like clean the house,